welcome to the most exciting live class of the year. Hi, I'm surprised to see that you're all already here. I thought there would be some sort of waiting room. Anyway, I wanted to just give a message for the people who will be watching the replay on YouTube. So welcome. This is the most exciting live class of the year because we are celebrating 2 years of the anniversary of the Fluency Accelerator. So there is not a worksheet like you're used to, but a workbook with 11 pages. So some of the guests have already printed it, I assume. You can also have it on your phone if you like. There are exercises with places to write. So if you have it printed, it's easier, but you do you. And if you're watching the replay right now, you can still find it on my Telegram channel as usual. And let's welcome the live students now because they are here. So we have Linda right here. Connie is here as well. Andrea, Errol, another Linda, Linda J. We have Marilyn, Mike, Shebat, Vigilin, Ivo, and Polo, and Jalila who's joining. I'm glad that you all can join even without there has been a bit of a confusion with the passcodes and everything, so I hope everybody will find their way. And yes, so you're mostly muted because if we all start speaking at the same time, it's going to be a disaster. But we will start with the slides right now, and as usual, I will teach the content. You do have a chat where you can type things in, so you can just click on chat and type things in if you have questions or if you have things you want to tell me urgently. And then, yeah, I will go through the slides and the things that I have prepared for you today. And then we will have plenty of time to all have a chat together and we can all unmute at the end and speak about whatever you want to speak about if you have any questions. So yeah, really glad to see that you guys are all able to join. That is really cool. So let me see how I can share my slides. Can you see the slides? Like just give me like a thumbs up, or except I can't see anyone with a video on. All right, good. I'm glad that you can see them. So this is called the Fluency Keys. I gave it quite a fancy title, and kind of old school title, 3 proven strategies to learn French fast and become fluent. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep those old school titles that just, I don't know. Tell me if you like those old school titles with the proven strategies. But anyways, like it's actually true. Like these are the keys to fluency, and this is how you can learn French fluently as fast as possible. A lot of you will already have heard some or all even of what I shared today, because I see we have plenty of students from the accelerator that are here. So yep, I'm just going to do a bit of teaching, maybe like 40 minutes or so. And then I will tell you about the future of the French Accelerator and of French learning in general. I have a bunch of exciting announcements, and then we can have a chat. All right, so like I was saying, the Frenchmen Accelerator is 2 years old now, which is really cool. And I'm so grateful to all of you for having been part of this journey and being still here today. So thank you so much. This is me. Originally, I had a slide with like all of my credentials, but I'm like, yeah, you probably know me if you're here. You've heard of me before. If anyone hasn't heard of me, tell me in the chat right now. So I decided to put some information updates about what I'm up to now and perhaps a couple of fun facts. So a thing that is really important about me is that I'm a lifelong learner. Like I'm a teacher, but I'm a learner as well. I'm always constantly evolving. And I think it's really important to be constantly evolving regardless of what you do in your life. And I've decided recently that I wanted to change my job title from French learning coach to French fluency coach, because that would focus more on the intended result. Like no one really wants to learn French when you think about it. You really want to just be able to speak French and be fluent and live your life as a fluent French speaker. So I think this shift is interesting. If you disagree, either tell me in the chat or we can speak about it towards the end. I like finding new ways to learn French, but you know that if you've been following me, so you have meditation tracks in the French Accelerator and also on my YouTube channel. and a bunch of other unconventional techniques like energy clearing, manifestation techniques, affirmations, all of that stuff. Currently, I'm learning NLP, that stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. That's something I'm hoping to be able to use in our work together in the French Accelerator, as well perhaps on YouTube, depending on how I can adjust the techniques. And also astrology, it's something I'm really curious about. I'm sure that in some way it can be adapted for French learning, but I feel it's an extremely complex topic and I'm not exactly ready to do that right now. So you have to bear with me probably a couple more years before you see some sort of like astrology for learning a language thing from me, but might happen. A thing that I did recently, I created a podcast. It's called Cultural Fluency. We have already 2 episodes. You might have seen them on my YouTube channel. You might have listened to them perhaps on Spotify, or it's coming to other podcast platforms. It's taking a bit of time to arrive on Apple Podcasts, but it will be there eventually. So we already have those 2 episodes. Those are in English. And I really had a strong intuition that I should also make episodes in French. I do have a lot of people that I would like to interview who are French influencers or generally French people who are French speakers who have a lot of either wisdom to share or really interesting lives to share. So I would really love to bring them also to a podcast, and then you can use that for your daily French bath. It's been like 4 or 5 minutes and I'm saying daily French bath for the first time. Andrea is saying, I would love to hear the podcast in French. Yeah, it's coming, definitely coming. I even drew a tarot card for that and the card was like, yeah, do it. So yeah, totally doing that. And another thing that's really important about me and the way that I teach is that I love to have a holistic and global approach, an approach that is meant to take into account every aspect of your life and even be adaptable for other people as well in other countries, other situations. So really finding the method that will help you individually and will also be adjustable for other people. And yeah, shaping the future of French learning. I know that sounds kind of pretentious in this way, but I really I was preparing this class this week. I was also recruiting the scholarship students that I will tell you about towards the end of the slides. And I realized that, yes, like this thing that I'm doing also collectively with you is totally shaping the future of language learning, because the goal is to take the full advantage of modern technology to create really like a school of French for global citizens. And that is really the vision that I'm moving towards now. And I'll tell you more about that at the end of the class. But yeah, basically, using modern technologies to learn French, I don't think it should be playing with an app. You know, I have something against apps, even though I myself created this PDF, which, by the way, is free. You can get it for free as part of the French Fluency Starter Kits if you don't have it already. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Learning French with Apps. But I think an app is really just one tool out of many that you can use. So yeah, for me, taking full advantage of modern technology, it's doing what we're doing now, meeting on Zoom, using the power of all the content we find online and the power to connect with other people from across the world to become able to speak French for real, like to another human, not to an app. So yep, that's what I'm up to. Let's take an overview of what you will learn today. So first, I have a proven strategy to become a French speaker. So those are the 3 keys that I was telling you about. So how to learn exactly what matters, how to create the right environment to learn French fast, how to become a confident French speaker. So those are the 3 keys. And then we'll speak about what the future of French learning look like, even though I have already given you a bit of a preview, and we'll have time to mingle and to celebrate together at the end. Quick review for those of you who are not familiar with the difference between coaching and teaching. Why would we do French fluency coaching? Why wouldn't we just join a class or use a self-learning program? Well, quite simply, the traditional way of teaching is not efficient. I've really had a very strong reminder of that as I was talking to the future scholarship students this week and recruiting them and just learning more about their experience of learning French and how just most of the time it wasn't really going well because yeah, traditional ways of teaching in class is not efficient, and most of the ways to learn online are also not very efficient. So really what it is about, it's about becoming a French speaker. And that is what coaches are here for. Coaches are here to help you achieve a transformation. So it's not about sitting in class for an hour and then forgetting about it until the next class. I'm hoping if you sit here with me for an hour or even 2 hours, you will go with some new insights into your life in the future, and you will be able to use the things that you learn here. And really the most important thing is making the French language a part of your life and a part of who you are. So this is what I help you do as a coach. And this is the point of this live class. There's someone who is not muted. I will have to find, I actually don't know. Oh. Just making sure that, okay, great. Looks like I fixed it. All right. Now, are you ready? If you're ready, let's dive in. So, like I was saying, learning French is a personal growth experience, and you are learning French to become more of who you are. It's like adding a layer to your personality, like becoming the same you, but a French-speaking version of you. Another thing that I have some beef with, besides apps, is the alternative methods that create a new identity for the students. Like some, I don't know if you've heard of that, but some classes or some teachers just want you to get a new identity, to pretend that you're a French person while you're in class. And their idea is that since you're pretending to be someone else, if you fail, you're not attaching the failure to your existing identity. I'm like, okay, sounds like a great idea, but what happens next? What happens when you are you and you're trying to use the language? It doesn't sound like a good idea. To me, it sounds like a better idea to be like, okay, this is who I am. And I am going to add a layer to my personality so I can be me, but in French. So that's what we are aiming to achieve with those 3 keys. And the first key, which is super important, is to learn what matters, to be really, really selective about what you learn. Because you need to learn what fits your personality and your needs, because I mean, if it doesn't fit, it's obviously a bad idea, right? And the thing that you need to realize that there is just too much French. You cannot learn everything. It's impossible. One of the things that I remember the most from when I was in university, learning to become a French teacher in my master's degree, was that the classes were repeatedly saying, on n'apprend pas le français, mais du français, which means you're not learning the French, you're not learning French or the French language, you're learning some French. So since you're going to learn some French, you want to learn the right French, right? Does this make sense? In practice, there might only be a few thousand words at most which are relevant to you. Like the statistics that I love to share very often is that the natives, the French native speakers from France who speak with the least words in their general life, they speak with only 500 words in their daily life, which 500 is not a lot. It's about the same amount as level A2, which is the half of the so-called threshold level. Like there is this thing that was theorized in the 1970s, which is called the threshold level, le niveau seuil in French. That was a time when there was a lot of research made by French people who were actually writing their research in French. And they had theorized that the minimum amount of words that you need to use to have a, I guess, fulfilling life in a French-speaking country is 1,000. And then they found out that some natives, much later, they found out that some natives actually had half of that. They don't have a very varied life. I mean, let me tell you, you don't want to be the person who has only 500 words. But if you have been learning French for a while, chances are you have a lot of words, probably more than you need. So that is why it's important to learn the right ones, and especially learn how to use them efficiently, not just stuff words in your head. And finally, another thing which is important is that if a topic brings you some strong positive emotions, it will be easier for you to learn. And the topics that give you strong positive emotions are typically the topics that you're already familiar with, the ones that you already like. So your hobbies, perhaps your profession, if you have chosen a profession that you love, then that will be a kind of topic that you will want to be able to speak about. So to summarize, you really don't want to learn things that are useless, boring, wasting your time, or in general, making you feel bad about your learning abilities because you're having a hard time learning them. And that's something we will see more about in part 2. But yeah, that's basically the whole idea. You want to learn the things that will make you feel good, that will be useful, and that will keep you motivated. So let's do an exercise. You can turn in your workbook to page, I believe, so page 3, you have a really nice biography of myself, in case you don't know who I am and you want to know more about what led me to here. But on page 4, you have the first exercise. You actually have a place where you can write notes. I totally forgot about that, but a place where you can write notes from the first key. So learn what fits your personality and your needs. That is like the first blanks. There are about 8,000 to 100,000, no, 800,000 to, no, I can't speak today. 80,000 to 100,000 French words in total, but only a few thousands are relevant to you. Probably a few thousands, maybe less. And if a topic stirs some strong positive emotions, it will be easier to learn. And then you don't want to learn things that are boring, useless, a waste of time, and making you feel bad about your learning abilities because you have a hard time learning them. So exercise number 1, and if you have the printed workbook, you can take a moment to write down things. If you're watching the replay, you can pause me and take your time to write the exercise more in details. It's actually the deeper you go into this exercise, the better. And the question is really, what makes you you? What are the things and activities that are specific to you, which not everyone does, and which you would want to speak about in French just because they're an important part of your life? So think of your work, your hobbies and interests, perhaps your family. Maybe you have a special family situation. Maybe you have children. Maybe you have grandchildren. Maybe you are single and it's important to you. Maybe you are married and you don't have children and it's important to you, things like that. Projects that you have for the future, what you want to do with your French skills, what you want to do in your career. Perhaps you have a volunteering project which is important to you, or a charity project, or a church maybe, or a religion group that is important to you, anything like that. The things that make you you, the things that are personal to you, and also social groups that you belong to. So these are things that you want to write down just to make conscious the fact that you are an individual, you are a person who needs to have a French study that is tailored for you, so you can speak about the things that you care about, not random things that the author of a book has decided that you should care about. Because, like, quite frankly, the thing I have the biggest beef with in all the French books for beginners is the page. You cannot avoid it. There's a page about the name of all the vegetables. I don't understand why. If you're a cook, of course, like if it's important for you to garden or to cook, or for some reason you're a vegetable person, whatever that means to you, yes, of course you should learn the name of vegetables, but most people don't need to. And if it's about going to a market in France, which first, not all French learners will do, but if you are traveling to France and you're going to a market, you know what, you can just point. I want this, like donnez-moi ça, genre 1 kilo de ça. If you don't know what ça is, eggplant, carrots, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just not something that's relevant, and it's a lot of vocabulary words that I would only learn if I am level B1 or something. But for some reason, it's in all the A1 books, and it's just dumb. So you should be really making your own selection. In the French Fluency Accelerator, for those of you who are already there, or for those of you who will join after this class, there is a full workshop where the entire goal is to define your curriculum based on your personality and on the things that you want to be doing, that you want to be learning for yourself. That corresponds to this worksheet, which I have been giving to everyone. You can still get it for free. But of course, if you have the full workshop, it's going to be more useful. If you have bought the French Life Launchpad at some point, it is also the first workshop in the French Life Launchpad, because the beginning of the French Fluency Accelerator is the same as the French Life Launchpad, the first 3. So, yep, take a moment to write that down. Like I said, if you're watching the replay, you can pause me. I don't know how long I should wait. So I'm just going to assume that you have written things down while I was rambling as usual. And then the second part of this exercise, it's simple. You just have to make a decision. You have to decide to practice speaking about these important topics rather than any other topic that you don't need. So there are 2 things that are important in this sentence when you think about it. One is you have to practice, the idea that you need to practice. So not just listen, which we will speak about it in the second key as well. But it's not just the daily French bath, which is very, very important. It's also making a decision, a conscious decision, that you're going to practice speaking French about those topics, even if you don't know yet how to do it. Just set the intention now that you're going to practice those topics and that you're going to speak with someone in French about those topics. Even if you don't have a person yet, that is something that we will see in the upcoming keys or in the future lessons as well. In the French Accelerator, we have an entire workshop on how to find someone to speak French with, so that's covered. But yes, so two important things: one, practice, and two, the topics that you need, the topics that are relevant to you, not the things that you don't care about. And to be honest, if you're trying to learn something that you don't care about, you're probably going to fail. Like, I hate to break it to you and to put it like this way, but don't try to learn something that you don't care about. It's painful and it's useless, right? So is there any questions about that? You can use the chat to write the questions if you have any. And if you don't, I will just move to the next slide. So now you should have shoved everything unnecessary from your study. All right, I mean, I've gone very far, like this key is really just scratching the surface. So we're not, I mean, we haven't gone very far into the depth of this exercise. It takes me a full hour when I work with a one-on-one student. I take the first hour to really determine exactly what it is that they need to be doing and how they need to be doing it. So of course, we're doing it really fast here, but either you've already taken this workshop because you're in the French Accelerator or the French Launchpad, or you've heard me speak about it before, or if it's new to you, well, that's, now you know that you at least need to do that. If you've done it already before, or if you have heard about it, it's a good piqûre de rappel, as the French say, like a sort of reminder shot. I don't know how to say that actually. That would be a word because of the COVID vaccine, but I don't know, next dose basically. So shove off everything unnecessary from your study. That's really important. Then that allows you to reclaim a lot of your time and your mental space. If you realize that you don't have to learn 90% of what you wanted to learn, that's great. Lots more time and a lot less pressure. And of course, you selected the topics that you really want to speak about, which is what matters. It's about making you a new upgraded version of you. So you want to speak about what you care about already. And hopefully it helps you be motivated a bit more than if you were like, oh my God, I have to learn those 100,000 French words and all the verbs and conjugations and all the topics that I don't care about just because it's part of the class. Yeah. So, however, one thing that's important to understand is that it's pointless if you don't have the environment to support these goals. So you can set all of the goals that you want. To be very cliche, you can set the goal to become a millionaire next year or a billionaire even, for what it matters. But if you don't have the kind of environment that will support you to do anything it is, like, I mean, if you set a goal to lose 30 kilos, say if you want to lose weight, or any goal, it's not just about French, it's about any goal at all, you need to have your environment set up to support these goals. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely hard, because if your environment is not conducive to you learning or to you achieving your goal, the only thing you will have to reach your goals is willpower. And willpower is an extremely limited resource, as you probably realized already. If you've ever tried to do anything with pure willpower, sometimes it works, but most often it doesn't. So the key, really the solution to this problem is to have an environment that will help you, that will pull you forward towards your goal. So like I was saying, yeah, I just said all of that. Learning French is a personal growth experience, and yeah, personal growth gets boosted or hindered by our environment. And by environment, I mean the people and the ideas that are around us. The people, basically their mindset, the content that we listen to, the podcasts, the books that we read, the TV that we watch, the social media, obviously, especially the social media. All of that is playing a role. So it's very important to be intentional about it and just, select the things that are going to be conducive. Again, we're back to the selection key, the idea that you want to pick what serves you. So how do you create the right environment for your French and for, in general, your future, your goals, your career, all the things that you want to achieve? Like I was saying, basically the idea is that the human brain is wired to learn from its environment, and it's particularly true in the case of languages. If you think about it, you learned your native language when you were a child, and no one actually gave you classes, but you did learn it, and you entirely learned it from the environment. somehow you soaked it up and you made sense of it. That is what the human brain does. And that is the reason why it is critical that your environment be conducive to learning French, just like your environment was conducive to learning English or learning whichever language is your native language, which you had as a child. So a conducive environment needs to include two things: conducive to learning a language, of course, just back on my main topic of expertise. You need to include passive input, and it has to have opportunities for active practice. So you can, learn passively. We're going to speak more about that. And also practice actively. So you can transform the things that you are learning passively into active knowledge and active and efficient way of using the language. Now, let's look at how conducive is your environment right now. We have a new exercise for that, and it's on page. So again, I completely forgot that there is a blank, completing the blank in the next page. So the human brain is wired, just when I read through it, the human brain is wired to learn from its environment. Therefore, it is critical that your environment be conducive to learning French. And the conducive environment needs to include passive input and opportunities for active practice. Let's look at how conducive your environment is right now. That was page 6. And then on page 7, you have the spot where you can write things down. So first off, passive input. Just take a moment and think of how much French is around you. What or which kind of French media do you already follow? If you have been my student for a while, I've been speaking in every workshop, in every video, almost every time I speak to you, I tell you about the daily French bath. You're tired of hearing it, but it is absolutely critical. If you do not hear some French every day or almost every day in large enough quantities, you will just not be learning because your brain will simply not think that it is relevant. Like the human brain thinks something is important just because it keeps seeing it, hearing it, sensing it with the 5 senses. It's something that's really important to understand if you want to change anything in your life. You need to bring the so-called stimulus, it's what the psychologists call it, the stimulus of the thing that you want to bring in your life. You need to bring it around. So, that's why vision boards work. For example, I have a workshop in the French Accelerator, which is about manifesting techniques for learning French. And I explain how to use a vision board for learning French. It works for learning French. It works for anything else, just because it's something that creates a visual stimulus in your environment. In the case of learning a language, you also need to have auditory stimulus, especially a language like French, which is spoken very differently from how it is spelled. Like if you look at French, how it is spelled, and you don't know how to read French, you might not actually guess how to pronounce it. There's just a big difference between how we speak and how we write. It's just how the language is. So you need to have spoken input, because for most people, their goal is not actually to be able to read French. Some people do have this goal, and that's a worthwhile goal, but most people have the goal to speak. And among the people who have the goal to read, they also have the goal to speak. It's very rare for people to only want to be able to read the language. That was a thing of the past, really. Although I do know a bunch of French people who can read English but cannot really speak it, so that happens. But most people really have a goal of being a speaker, not being a reader. So take a good moment to think of how much French is around you. If you've been following me for a while, you probably have your daily French bath already set up. If you have let it slip away, it's now the time to just start it over again. Try to find some podcasts in French. In the French Accelerator, we keep sharing things about how you can find the right podcast for you. I do have a list somewhere, I think on my blog, there is a list on my blog of YouTube channels that you can watch. And yes, it's really about finding the things that you love, that you will want to watch, not because they're in French, but because you will want to watch them already. So the things that are about your hobbies, perhaps about your profession, about all the things that you care about, basically. So, and then the second part of the exercise is think back of what you wrote in exercise number 1, and think of whether the French that you have around you is related to these activities. So if you wrote, for example, that you like sewing or you like knitting, do you follow YouTube channels about sewing or knitting, for example? If you like to keep up with the news, if it's something that's important to you, do you follow some French TV or French channel which gives you the news? YouTube channel, radio channels, you can find any kind of news in French that you like. So think back of the things that you wrote. Are you following French content, French media that is related to these things? And if not, how can you change that and what can you add? This is something we can speak about at the end of the class. If you have questions about this or the kind of resources that you would like, that you need to use personally, it's something we can speak about. So, and after you have answered this question, then the next question is about active practice, because remember, two things need to be in your environment: passive input and active practice. So the 1,000 euros, 1 million euros, I don't know, question, do you have people that you can speak French to? I know that for a lot of learners, it is a problem that they don't have people that they can speak French to. And sometimes they do have people that they can speak French to, like a husband or a partner or friends that are French speakers, but they don't really speak to them often enough. So think of how you can increase the amount of French conversations that you have. I'm giving you a hint. Sometimes it is a lot easier to text in French than it is to speak. Now, of course, you can think, okay, texting is not like speaking, it's more writing. Does that count? Yes, it does count. It 100% counts. It doesn't count as speaking. It will not replace a speaking practice because you need to be able to use your muscles to speak. That's really important as well. But it will count as active practice because you will have to string your sentences together. So a thing that you can use is texting. It really, really works. It's really helpful. And if you don't have anyone to speak to or to text to, how can you find people to speak French to start having these kind of conversations? So of course, if you're in a program like the French Accelerator, we are really upgrading it towards having more conversations in French this year. I'm telling you more about this towards the end as well. There's also a workshop, which is how to have meaningful conversation in French in the French Accelerator. And that is just going out and finding those people outside of the program to be able to speak French to. So either online or offline, depending on where you live and the kind of person you'd like to find. So this is a really critical part of your study. If your environment is not conducive to learning, it's just not going to happen. So make sure you have your daily French bath and make sure you have some active practice. Do you have any question about this? I need to keep the chat open because I don't actually know if people are typing things. No, okay, great. So if there is no questions, we can move on to the next step. So now you know what you need to focus on and how to create a conducive environment. Now, of course, it wasn't very detailed, but you have a bit of a clue of how to do it. So you're off to a good start. However, there is still one thing that's really annoying, is that people are often really shy about speaking French. I think it's honestly the most common issue that I hear from, you know, besides not having someone to speak to, is that when you have someone to speak to, you're just blocked because you're anxious, shy, or afraid of speaking. And it's very frequent, and it's not something that you should feel bad about, because, well, for one thing, if you feel bad about it, you're probably not going to be in a great situation to fix it. It's more something that you should feel curious about. I know it's really weird if you're feeling anxious or shy or afraid to hear, okay, wait, how am I going to be curious about my anxiety? But I find that for me, when I have negative emotions, it really helps to become curious about them and be like, oh, okay, oh, I feel this way. That's interesting. What makes me feel this way? Like, why? Like, if I'm anxious, it means I'm afraid that something bad will happen. So how do I, like, what am I afraid of, basically? And is that a real fear? And if so, how do I alleviate these risks? And this is really an important step for personal growth. Call that mindfulness or curiosity, or just, you know, yeah, I like to call it being curious. It's really helpful in general when you're learning a language, or when you're learning a new field or a new kind of mindset, a new way of thinking. It doesn't have to be a language, but it's very typical for a language that you need to learn really a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. And it's really important to be curious as opposed to being frustrated. Like I write on the slides, growth requires some space and acceptance, and there's just no growth under pressure. So if you're anxious or afraid, it's just going to stunt your growth considerably, because when your brain is under stress, it just cannot learn new things. So it really helps to just adopt an attitude of being curious, either about the language itself or about whatever is going on, or especially about your own negative emotions. So let's do an exercise for that. Wait, let me first read the things that I have on page 8. So when your brain is under stress, it just cannot learn new things, right? So if you are anxious or under pressure, in the best case scenario, you won't be able to learn to the best of your abilities. And in the worst case scenario, you will avoid the situation altogether and you won't learn anything. So that's really important to realize, that perhaps why you're not engaging in French or with French speaker might be because you're avoiding it. Again, not something to feel bad about. So many people do it. I do it myself. Right now, my German is actually becoming worse because I do my best to not speak German. Now, if I don't actually need to become better at German, so it's not a problem. It's also something that you want to consider. Maybe you don't need to become better at French, and it's okay. Like, to everyone should follow their own goals and make progress in the things that matter to them. But if it's important for you to become a French speaker and a confident French speaker, then you need to address the reasons why you might be avoiding speaking, or you might be feeling anxious or shy or afraid. And really the key is to practice with less pressure first. So here's an exercise. If you're anxious, it means you expect something bad to happen. So the first step of this exercise is to think of what you're afraid of. What is the worst thing that could happen? And it's also something that we can discuss towards the end of this class when I'm done with the slides. We can go back to any of these exercises and I can discuss with you your personal situation. Most of the time, the people are anxious because they are afraid of embarrassing themselves. They are afraid of being perhaps annoying to the other person, or generally it's a sort of variation of being afraid of rejection. And I have to tell you that this is a legitimate fear, and it might feel silly because, to be honest, like, I mean, what's the worst that could concretely happen? You probably won't get yourself into a bad situation. And in my experience, the people who have gotten themselves in a bad situation abroad or in French-speaking countries, it was most of the time not a language problem. It's just that the situation was dangerous. And even if their French had been great, they might not have been in a better situation for it. So it might feel like you're not really having an actual danger. But when you think about it, our brain has evolved in the prehistorical time when things were very different. And in a prehistorical tribe, you wouldn't, as a member of your tribe, run to the next tribe of humans and try to have them adopt you or try to learn their language. Like, best case scenario, they would just reject you and leave you alone. Worst case scenarios, they would just kill you because whatever, you might bring some problems with you or be some sort of like bad person. So it's legit dangerous for a human to try to join another group of humans. Not anymore, of course, because we are living in a world that is much more interconnected and we know not to kill strangers. But in the past, it was legit dangerous. So your brain has the memory of this because the brain does not evolve as fast as society does. So that could be something that you have in the back of your mind. That is something that could be addressed with energy clearing, for example. We have a workshop in the French Accelerator about energy clearing, where I go over all the bad things that the French have done in the past that your ancestors might have had a problem with, and all of the reasons why you personally might have a problem with French or with learning just because of the things that have happened in your past. But just for now, for this exercise, think of consciously, what is it that you're afraid of? What is the worst that could happen? And if you find that you're afraid of embarrassing yourself or you're afraid of failing at something, then the next step is, how can you avoid or alleviate this? And not spoiler alert, it's a really bad idea to try to just get over it. I do get a number of people, especially among my one-on-one clients, they tend to come to me and tell me that they're anxious about speaking French and that they should just get over it. Like, I'm just gonna get over it and like do my French and that's gonna be fine. Very often the people I work with one-on-one, they're people who are very successful, who have an international career, or they run a big business, or they run a big charity, or they have an important position in a big charity. And they're just not people who are used to be very touchy-feely about things. They're just, the go-getters kind of people. And often when they start working with me, it's because they're stuck, because the attitude of just getting over it has not worked so far. It's really hard to get over things, just get over things and like bypass all of your natural defenses against something. It's really hard. It can have negative consequences because, well, for starters, it creates a lot of stress. If you're stressed out about something and you force yourself to do it, it makes it worse. Now, if you succeed and you see that nothing happens, then it might indeed build some more resilience for the future. It's something useful, but I would still not recommend it if you can avoid it. Now, of course, if it's just a little thing and you're just pushing yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone, that's different from pushing yourself way far out of your comfort zone. But yeah, if you push yourself too far out of your comfort zone, you might even end up reinforcing some disempowering beliefs instead of disproving them, because yeah, maybe you're trying to do something that's indeed too hard for your current level. It's a possibility. And if then it is indeed too hard and you cannot do it, then you may be like, oh, yeah, I knew it. I can't do it. I suck at this. So these are all the reasons why I just don't recommend trying to get over it. And I would be much more in favor of practicing the things in a safe space first. Even if you have to play the conversation with a friend, say, for example, you have a job interview in French, that can happen. I had a couple of, several actually of my students in the past who have had job interviews in French. It can be a good idea to practice with a French or with a partner or with me, for example. We're going to have group coaching calls in the French Accelerator starting in September. So that's going to be something that you can use. Of course, you can also work with me one-on-one if that's something that you'd like to do. I have, I think, 3 spots available now to start in September. So if you're interested in that, just hit me up, send me an email, or contact me in some other way, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. Yeah, you could also have a language buddy to share an experience with. So a language buddy is someone that you that is also learning French and that you have decided to go on this journey together. So these are all the kind of people, by the way, that you can find either within the French Fluency Accelerator, because there will be other students, or you can find them thanks to that workshop, which is about how to have meaningful conversation. And of course, the supportive coach is me, or you can find another one if you have another coach that you like better, or if I'm not available at that moment. All right, so any question about this? Now, really the important takeaway for the question, the key number 3 is to decrease the pressure. So the space that you practice in, and when we say the space, it really means the modalities. What is the vibe? Like, who is the person that you're practicing with, or the people? Who are the people that you're practicing with? Are they being supportive of you? Whether it's a real life space, something when you are in a room with someone, or if it's a virtual space that via the internet, like we're in right now. It's really important that the people that are there be supportive, that they would not make fun of you. Unfortunately, it's not infrequent for French teachers to make fun of the students. I don't understand why they do this, but sometimes they do. I have seen it myself back when I was working in some schools. I've seen teachers who were just not being conducive to learning. Like it's a fact. That happens. It sucks, but if that happens to you, then you want to get yourself out of that kind of space and into a space where it's just more conducive for you, if you can do it at all. Because that's what will allow you to feel secure enough to actually learn for real, instead of feeling disempowered and just not being able to learn. So learn, try new things, and practice until you feel confident. And only after you've been able to practice in this kind of supportive space with supportive people, then you can take your new knowledge and you can use it in real life, where the stakes are just higher. Like in real life, we most of the time don't really have a safe space, especially if it's a job interview. It's the least safe you can think of. Like, people are going to judge you every step of the way. If you are having a career where you have to speak French to clients, or you have to speak French to some colleagues from another country, of course, they're all going to be judging you and thinking of whether or not they will give you a promotion or these kind of things. So it's normal in most of your life to have a space which is not safe when you try to speak French. And that is why it is so important to have the space where you can actually practice, where nothing will happen, and you can just hone your skills until you're ready. So to recap, the 3 keys, which we have now completed, are: 1, you need to choose to learn only what is relevant to you. 2, you need to create a conducive environment with passive input and active practice. And 3, you need to practice as much as you can in a low pressure space to conquer anxiety before you go to speak French in higher pressure environments. Which, I mean, depending on your French learning goals, you might have more or less of those higher pressure environments. But honestly, even if you're just, say, on a hiking trip or say a bike trip in France, and you need to find some place to repair your bike, it can already be quite the pressure if you're in the middle of nowhere and the people are not speaking English. So these, for example, are the kind of things you want to practice, you want to put on your personal curriculum, learn to speak about repairing your bike, if that's something that you're likely to end up doing. Right, so any question about this? Okay, so if we do not have a question for now, I'll need to tell you the truth about those keys, because these, I think, are the 3 things that are most important to learn French, or to learn any language for that matter. The truth is I didn't find those keys on my own. I am not actually some lucky polyglot who has quote unquote cracked the codes to learning a language in 3 months. And I'm not trying to pick a fight with Benny Lewis with these slides. I mean, I know that Benny Lewis is the author of the book Fluent in 3 months. And I know that he himself would probably not have chosen this title. He discussed it once. I was on once in a discussion where he was sharing that, yeah, it's a choice made by the publisher. It's not so much the choice of the author of the book, who is actually more serious than trying to have you believe that it's easy to become fluent in 3 months just by reading a book. But the publisher wants to sell some books, so that's really important for them. So again, not trying to pick a fight with him, but I haven't cracked any particular code. Yes, I'm a polyglot now because, well, I speak actually 6 languages now, including 5 that I have learned to fluency. But that's not really what made me very good about those keys. What mostly made me very good about understanding how it works and all the methods that I've created over the years, not just these keys, but the many, many methods we have now in the Frenchmen Accelerator and the many more to come, which I'm still creating now. They've all been created for and with French learners, and everything I do is continually being refined and improved with the learner's input. So I want to say a really big thank you to all of you who have been following me, who have been asking questions, who have been part of the Frenchmen Accelerator program or of any other program that I've created over the years, and even being part of my YouTube live or just reading my emails. It was super helpful to have your input, because that is what has allowed me to refine the methods that I have created. So thank you so much. And yes, the very special space where all of this happens now, it's been 2 years. The Frenchmen Accelerator is just this amazing space where all of the students can come together and choose the new things that are going to be developed and practice together in the way that is safe and that helps them actually develop their French learning skills. And it's 2 years old now, and I could not be more proud of having been with you for 2 years. It's really amazing. Thank you so, so much for being here and participating in this adventure. Some of you maybe remember this. In August 2019, I introduced the Frenchmen Accelerator with this old school style graphic. At the time, I just loved making those graphics. I have since then stopped. Although, to be honest, the graphic for the workshop, no, I don't have it on the slides. It was shared on Instagram. The graphic for the workbook was kind of like that too. I just like making these kind of things. You'll see on the next slides, I just made some more graphics just because I like them. But it's really old school. I only see that on like old websites where people have created programs and they make it look like they're on CDs, even though they are like, I don't know, it's old school. Just I looked at it and I was like, oh, old times. And yeah, my goal at the time was to create the French program that learners around the world really need. And that is why I've been using so much of the students' input, because it is being built since 2019. And I actually don't know if that is correct English grammar. Since 2019, the French Accelerator is being built with continuous input from its members. Those of you who know grammar, please send me a message in the chat, tell me if that's even correct English. Anyway, it was started in 2019 and it is being built with continuous input from all the members. So yep, again, thank you so much. I'm probably going to repeat it again and again, but yeah, it's thanks to you if we have gone all this far. And now the Frenchmen Accelerator has, so it's been 2 years, and it has a library. It's mostly is a library so far, but I really want to make it be much more than a library and turn it to a global school of French. But so far we have created, I would say I have created, but I have to acknowledge that it's not just me. Grammar sounds fine to Andrea. Thank you, Andrea, that helps. So far I have created, with the input of students, 17 workshops. I say 17 plus because a new workshop of French class is created every month. So depending on when you're watching this, there might be many more. 17 plus workshops recording all the bases from grammar, covering all the bases from grammar and vocabulary to strategy, mindset, and even energy clearing. And yeah, all the workshops are created after the members vote for the next topic. So every time there's a workshop coming up, currently we're making 4 new ones a year. All the members get to have a vote, and you tell me which topic you want, and I prepare it. And now this was an update from 2020. There are 8 plus, there are 8 so far. There will be a 9th one in September. French classes that are based on French songs or videos, which are meant to learn real life French. That's something that I absolutely love to do. It's so exciting every time I bring a new piece of French content, so to speak, a new French song or a new French video that is found online. It was created for French speakers by French speakers. And I create a list of questions. I try to have as many varied questions as I can. So there are questions about the content of the song or the story if it's a movie. I mean, a short movie, of course, not a very long movie. And questions about grammar and about vocabulary. And I try to mix and match them and really make you practice with real life French stuff, really, like documents. Not the kind of things that are being created for learners, because there are a lot, to be honest. Honestly, the vast majority of French learning methods are made with stuff that is created for learners. And it is true from apps, it is true in books, and it is true in, I think, honestly, 90%, perhaps 95% of French learning material is made with things that are not taken from real life French. Now, I can appreciate why people do that. I have been studying, I have a master's degree in language teaching. I've been studying almost all the methods that exist, all the main methods for sure, and not perhaps, there are some unconventional methods that exist somewhere that I don't know, but I actually wrote my thesis about unconventional methods. So it was actually my specialty even at the time. But the majority of those methods are not using real life French. And that was one of the biggest criticism already back when I was in university. And that's, I'm afraid of saying it, but that was more than 10 years ago. Oh, wait, gosh, that's a long time ago. Okay, I'm 36 now. I think I don't know, a long time ago. But already back then, 2010 is the day that I got the year that I got my master's degree. So only 11 years ago. Interesting. Yeah, I was teaching a long time before I got my degree. So there's that. But yeah, already more than 10 years ago, it was the problem that was spoken about at length in our classes. And it is still the case that the French that is being taught is just, some out of context taken words that are meant to teach you some French. And I understand why they do this. It's because it's a lot easier. It is, of course, a lot harder to study with the real life stuff. But then again, that is what teaches you the language as it is spoken. So I'm super proud to be able to do this. It's something I learned to do in university, just creating those content, like teaching exercises that are made from real life French. It's something I'm super proud of. I've only actually been doing it twice in my life. The first time was when I was teaching at the Vienna School of International Studies, which is the school where you can go if you want to be a diplomat or a prime minister or this kind of professions. I was teaching there, and that was actually the first place where I got to use these methods, which is based on real life French material. And the second time that I'm using it is now. So thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to actually do a good job as a French teacher and a French coach. I'm super happy. And yes, the other part of the French Accelerator is the global community of amazing students. So thank you so much. I have put here all the little flags of the countries. I hope I haven't forgotten any, but it's possible that I have. UK, USA, Australia, Canada, France, and Sweden. I believe these are all of the countries that are represented right now or so far in the Frenchmen Accelerator, or currently actually. I know that there were, I think, 1 or 2 other countries that were represented by some students who left over the years because they had received what they needed and then they left. You can always, of course, leave the program. You're not in jail. Also, it's a subscription, so you can leave if you feel that you are just received everything you needed. But so far, yes, we have this global community of 6 countries, but wait, there's more. It's about to change drastically because I am to introduce the new upgrade from the French Accelerator. So yes, why did I go? Yes, here. So the 2021 update. So every year, like I was saying, there is a new update. So it was created in 2019 in August. In 2020, I introduced the new French classes. So I felt that we had almost enough workshops and that I needed to introduce something new. So I introduced the French classes based on real life French in 2020. And in 2021, I'm introducing 2 new things that I'm so excited about. I think it's going to be a game changer for everybody in this program. So the 2 things are scholarships and weekly life coaching. So I actually announced the scholarships already last year, but I'm not a very slow person when it comes to putting things in place. I'm not a very fast person, sorry, I'm quite slow when it comes to putting things in place. And it turned out that creating a scholarship and actually finding people, like logistically, it was complicated. So I wanted to do it in January already, but yeah, the time it took to put it together means that it became the 2021 upgrade. So for each member who buys a yearly subscription to the French Accelerator, so if you buy a year in the program or if you renew, so some of you I know have already renewed from 2019 or 2020, so thank you so much for the continuous support. Whenever you buy or you renew your subscription to the French Accelerator, I will give a year in the program to a deserving student from anywhere in the world. And you can already see that we have students from these 8 countries that are joining this year. And I will reveal in a minute which country these are. Perhaps you can take a guess in the chat. You can say, just, you can, I know that it's complicated, to be honest. Most of these countries are just not very famous, and most people in the West don't actually know the flags for these countries. But if you want to take a guess, go ahead, the chat is yours. Just throw the word, the name of a country. And if it's your countries, because I know that some of the scholarship students are live right now. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. If it's yours, oh, well, don't say it, because of course you can know your flag. But those of you who are, say, from the US or something, yes, let's do it's yes. So South Africa, yes, South Africa is in there. China is in there. Netherlands, yes. Cameroon, yes. South Africa, China, great. Kenya is one of them, yes. Okay, I don't know if we don't have them all. We have, I think 2 missing. 3 missing. But yeah, good job. Better job than on Instagram. People on Instagram were not very reactive like that. So yes, we have three missing. This one here, Philippines, yes, that is one. Okay, so this one we still need, and I believe no one has mentioned this one. Yes, Nigeria, absolutely, that's it, that is Nigeria. And so we only have this one missing. I confess I had never actually seen this flag before. I had a student from this country. So I learned some things by putting those flags together myself. So while you're taking some more guesses about the last flag, the second update, which I'm super excited about, is Uganda. Yes, that is the last one. So Uganda, Kenya, Netherlands, Cameroon, Philippines, Nigeria, South Africa, and China. Those are all the countries. Good job, guys. You're amazing. So yes, the last but not least update that I am so excited to bring is that from September 5th, so that's next Sunday onwards, so every Sunday from the September 5th, we will meet at 11 a.m. Eastern. So you have to convert that to your own time zone. If you're in the Pacific time zone, it's 8 a.m. If you're in the Central European time zone, like myself, it is 5 p.m. So it's exactly basically 2 hours before the weekly YouTube live, which the weekly YouTube live is still going to be there. It's still going to be free. I'm still going to be live with all of you on YouTube for free, even if you're not in the Frenchmen Accelerator. But if you are in the French Fluency Accelerator, you get another session with me where that will be on Zoom, just like we are right now, or rather just like we will be in a moment when I'm outside of the slides. When I'm done with the slides and we all start speaking, that will be more like that. Actually, I created this class to try and bring together all of the vibe of the French Accelerator so you see how it works. So there are those slides, there are the exercises, which in some workshops we have exercises like that. I haven't brought a part of the French classes vibe because it would have been difficult to put it in. Maybe I'll try to find that next year. But yeah, then when we finish these slides, we will have time to have the French coaching vibe and hopefully just get the same kind of situation as we will have in the live coaching calls on Zoom starting from next week. So 2 hours before the YouTube live, I decided to do it 2 hours before so that we could at least have a good hour together, and perhaps then I could take a break. But if we have a lot of students on live on the call, I'm open to having it going from 2 hours until I have to sign off and to go to YouTube. So super excited about that. I really look forward to doing this with you. I think it will be a game changer for many people because you will basically have a touch point every week, and every week I will be there and you will be able to share, okay, like this happened for me this week, or I took this workshop, but I wasn't able to apply it because this happened. What could I do? It's really going to be a situation where I can actually help you retarget every week, and just, you know, if you veer off course, being re-put on course. I think it's going to be a game changer for all the students who take this opportunity. So if you're in the French Accelerator now, or if you're joining next, please take advantage of this opportunity. It's going to be amazing. And of course, the French Accelerator depends on you to become better. It depends on your input, and my own coaching can never get better if I'm not having your input as well. So thank you so much for being here. And like I was saying, we're having scholarship students. There are actually 7 scholarship students, even though there are 8 flags, because you'll see that one of them has 2 countries. But first off, I need to say a massive thank you. Thank you so much to all the students that are already there. I'm trying to get rid of the chat, which is in the middle, because I can't see my slide there. So thank you so much for all of the students who basically de facto you have now become sponsors of the scholarship students. So thank you so much. I know that some of you are live on the call right now. So Linda, of course, who has been a member since the beginning of the accelerator, and he's now even working with me. So thank you so much for your continued support and the continued work that you do. I absolutely love working with you. And to everyone who has been in the program since the beginning or who has joined this year, thank you so much. You know, Andrea from Ohio, Carla from New Jersey, Linda, the other Linda from the US. I don't know which state you're from. Sorry about that. Phoenix, I couldn't find a picture of you, but thank you for being here. Melanie from Canada, Cynthia, also from the US, I believe, Rhiannon from the UK, Kristen from Michigan, David and Angelica Carr, who are an international family, UK, Sweden, France. There is a chat message. Oklahoma, Linda from Oklahoma. Thank you for specifying. And Chian, who's originally from the USA, but now lives in Singapore. Tim from Australia, and Jason from Idaho or California, depending on where he's from and where he lives. Thank you so much, guys. It is thanks to you that we are now have the possibility of having this wonderful program that has been living for 2 years and has a bright future ahead of itself. And now we get to also have these new scholarship students. Now, you might immediately realize that there are way more sponsors than there are scholarship students. And I just said that for every person who buys 1 year in the program or who renews a year, there will be a scholarship given to a student. I'm well aware that there is a discrepancy, and I think it's actually kind of good because it means that we will have a lot of scholarships to give away also with the next intake. So there will be an intake twice a year. There will be an intake in August and September, and the next intake is going to be in January, maybe end of December, maybe not, because, you know, the holidays and stuff, I probably don't know that. Ivo is saying he forgot about the picture. It's okay. I found a cute meme to put in instead of you. And I mean, since you're known to the people on the YouTube live as Doge, I think they will get the reference. So yeah, So thank you so much for every sponsor who's here, and welcome to the scholarship students. The 7 of you are the first class that will be part of this amazing experiment, because it's all a big experiment, and the goal really is to just make the best program that can exist on Earth. That's really that's my goal. And I don't even love the word program anymore, because kind of like it feels like, I don't know if anyone wants to buy a program. You would be more happy to be in a school or a university. So I am having an inkling that it will change its name probably in the upcoming year. Maybe next year when we sit here again, it will have a different name. Because yeah, the vision is bigger than it being an online program. I mean, it's still going to be online, because of course the whole point is for it to be global. And yeah, we're adding exactly 8 countries to the pool of students. I'm so excited about that. So yep, the scholarship students: Marilyn from Uganda, Ivo from the Netherlands, Mercy from Kenya, Lou from China, Hafsat from Nigeria, Kolo from the Philippines, and Vigeline, who is from Cameroon but lives in South Africa right now. So welcome. Looking forward to seeing all of you on the call initiative rather than program. I need to think about it. I think I will just pool everybody and ask you how we should call it, and we can just all choose a name together. I think that's going to be how it's going to happen. But yeah, so as I said, we have more sponsors than scholarship students so far. So there will be a new intake in January, and we know already that there will be spots. Of course, everyone who joins from today on will also create a spot for a future French student. I wrote a P instead of apply, it bugs me there. So if you are here and you don't have a scholarship yet and you would like to have one, you can apply at frenchmans.net/scholarship. I will still keep collecting applications, but keep in mind that the next intake is in January, so it will take a while to reply to you. So yeah, and I want to take a moment to look at the new vision that I'm having for this program. Like I said, it should not really be an online program, but more like a global school for French learners to learn French, but not only learn French, but exchange cultures and interests and grow together. I'm so excited that we're getting 8 new countries that are represented, and it's going to be amazing. And of course, all of the major English speaking countries are already represented by the existing students. So it's just, yep, the global group becoming even more global and getting more opportunities to grow together and to exchange the things that we care about and the things that make us be more of ourselves. And there will be a vast library of recorded classes, because it already exists, and every month there will be more. There will be every month new content. I'm not changing that. There will be weekly meetings. I'm writing meetings. So currently there will be 1 per week, but I'm already having a larger vision of having more than just me as a teacher, and perhaps having tutors or having other coaches. I would absolutely love to one day create a language coach certification program. Has been my dream for a very long time. Of course, it will take a lot more progress, particularly in the size of my audience, to become able to create that, because I mean, I'm not having so many people, I believe, so far who would be interested in a language coach certification program to the point that it will be worth it to create it, because it's a huge amount of work, and it would certainly also be a huge amount of work on behalf of the students to become certified coaches. But I'm hoping that with more and more students in the program, it's going to become possible to create this. So weekly meetings, hopefully in the future more than 1. We are starting with 1 this year, and hands-on supervision from coach, me, a coach, or coach is, hopefully in the future. So yep, that is the vision. You can join us if you would like to become a student and you have not received the scholarship because you have not applied, because you're a person. If you're a person from a Western country, I would strongly recommend you join us and become a sponsor, as well as a student of this global group. If you join us right now, you'll get access to the entire library that already exists. Like I said, 17+ workshops and 8+ live classes. New content every month, which is delivered live, and then it is recorded and added to the member zone. So if you miss the live workshop, don't worry, it's going to be there for you forever, well, for as long as you're in the program. Weekly group coaching with me, that's something we're starting next Sunday. The student community, so far we have a community on Facebook I don't love Facebook. I've been thinking of alternatives for a long time, but so far I haven't really found anything that is as efficient, or it's not that Facebook is efficient, but I just haven't found a better alternative so far, but I'm still looking for. And you will sponsor a deserving student, of course. That is the one thing that I'm super excited about, particularly this year. And just so you know, there's a 15 days money back guarantee. So if you join now and you decide within the next 15 days that you don't want it, I will be sad, but I will give you your money back. And if you join before August 31st, so, you know, in the next 2 days, basically, you will lock in the historical low rate, which is $697. I have to tell you that this rate has not increased since September 2019, because yeah, last year I basically skipped the opportunity to have a celebration because it was a crazy year. Can we admit that? Like 2020, horrible year. So I just kept the low price for 2 years, but now it's time to give it an upgrade because it is huge. Like the program is now huge. It has increased spectacularly. It has become this amazing, really big things. So yep, it's gonna increase, but only on the 1st of September. So if you join before August 31st, well, this month basically, yeah, you will have your first year for $697, and every subsequent year, as long as you stay in the program, you also keep this rate. So it's not going to increase for you. So yes, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're watching the replay and it's after September 1st, sorry, but yeah, I think it still is a very valuable program, even if it costs $897 a year, especially when you take into account the inflation. So yes, you can find all the infos again and more and sign up at frenchfluency.net/accelerator. You have the link in your workbook as well if you want to click on it. Otherwise, you can just type it in your I just actually just going to type it in the chat for you because I'm just really so used to typing it. If I type this, you can click on it. No, you can't. That's too bad. Let me just find it. Where's my chat? Sorry, I've lost you. Yes, there you go. Copy paste the URL. So frenchfluency.net/accelerator. If you want to join, you're welcome to join. And if you have any question about anything that we've discussed today, or really anything related to French learning, now is the time. I'm going to get rid of my slides. I've also heard that Linda has a surprise for us. I do not know what that is. I just heard that she has a surprise and that she needs to have a moment of the floor. So Linda, the floor is yours. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so you can be full on. And yes. Okay, so you haven't unmuted yourself. Can you speak now, Linda?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I just wanted to say happy birthday to the Accelerator. And because Julia Child once famously said that a party without cake is just a meeting. So
this is true.
Some.
Oh my God. This is so amazing.
Little French cupcakes.
Yes, I love it. It's too bad we can't just share them. That would be really cool. But yeah, like that's the one downside of having an online program. Like it's amazing. We can go global. We have the whole internet. Like we have access to everything at the same time, but we can't have the same cake.
But wait, there's more.
Ooh, champagne.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just California, but we do what we can.
So it's just sparkling cheese.
Yes, it is just sparkling cheese. So I just want to say congratulations and happy birthday to the Accelerator. I'm like Angel said, I'm one of the OG from the very early days.
Yes. And
it's been like a life-changing experience being in the Accelerator and meeting all of these people and having a friendship, and it's astonishing, I guess. I just want to say thank you to Angel for thinking of this amazing concept and then bringing it to life, which is even the bigger thing. And then I want to welcome all of our scholarship students, and I'm looking so forward to working with all of you in the future. And all of our new upgrades and everything. It's just a really exciting time. So, salute.
Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate the congratulations, and yeah, thank you to everyone for being part of this adventure. I did not think it up on my own. I was really creative with the continuous input of everyone. I know you're probably gonna get tired of hearing me saying it, but yeah, like thank you so much, guys. It's a collective creation. We have a message from Errol in the chat. Okay, everybody's writing congratulations in the chat. I'm just going to read it aloud, but you can just unmute yourself. Can you actually technically unmute yourself? Do you have the possibility, or do I have to? I guess I have to ask you all to unmute. I'm just going to click on everyone. It's probably going to be easier. I don't actually know if it's going to work if everyone is unmuted at the same time. So if you're not speaking, maybe you can mute yourself. But yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, I believe I've clicked on everyone. So you have the possibility to unmute. Yes, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So thank you for the congratulations. Errol has given a French congratulations. I'm going to just read it in French. Bonjour Angèle et toutes les personnes présentes. Je vous ai envoyé un email que vous pouvez partager avec la classe. OK, je ferai ça après. Félicitations, que Dieu vous bénisse et je vous souhaite de nombreuses années de succès à venir. Je vous aime tous. Merci, c'est très gentil à toi. And Marilyn is saying, congratulations, French Accelerator. Cheers to many more years ahead. Marilyn is one of our scholarship students. So, yep. And Linda is congratulating the other Linda, saying it's an excellent tribute, and I agree.
Thanks.
So, yeah, I'm happy to stick around for, say, another 40 minutes or so. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to share experience, or just anything, like, the floor is yours. Somebody please say something so we don't have like an awkward silence with 16 people.
Everybody's frozen.
Everybody's frozen. That's not normal. I do actually see people moving. I mean, but I only have 3 people on camera. That's Linda, Yukani, and Andrea. So yeah. Vigeline, also a scholarship student, is saying congratulations. I'm happy to be here and part of this great initiative. Thank you. All right. Does anyone have a question or something you'd like to share? If not, I mean, can just go ahead, Andrea.
I don't have a question, but I do have a new link that I've been playing with. I can put in chat.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm late to the party, but it's called Fête d'hiver. Have you ever heard of that, Angèle?
So Fête d'hiver basically really just means the kind of things that you find in the newspaper, in the news, that are not big political or economical stuff, like family, like in slangy French, it's called la rubrique des chiens écrasés. So like the how do you say chien écrasé in English? Run over dogs topic, because it's I mean, if it's your dog, of course it's important, but for most people we don't really care. So that's what Fait d'hiver means. So
but this is the online version of
yes.
And so they have, this is justice, but they have different little categories. And it's, if you want to see what real life, non-stylized French life is like.
That sounds like a good one, yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
I've been having fun with it. And sometimes, you know, it changes daily. It updates every day, but yeah, that's my new toy.
It's a good idea, and like for someone who if you enjoy the news, or if you enjoy new things or novelty, or like I think it's not going to be for everybody, but if it's something that you can be interested in and just really seeing like how do people live in France, probably you're gonna find out it's not very different from where you live. I mean, I'm just looking at it quickly. It's like you know,
it's not, but it gives you vocabulary of, yes, hey, my dog just got run over. Things like that.
You know, people being in a car accident. One person was injured with a bullet, so some gun injury. Per person died on the street in Cibourg. I don't even know where that is. And most places, actually, I don't know where they are. Like, it's just like tiniest places in France. But yeah, like if it's something you could be interested in, it's an amazing way of learning vocabulary. It's also written, which makes it easier because, of course, you don't have to deal with the speed, which you do when you have your daily French bath with auditory content. So yes, if you'd like to read things and you like these kind of topics, amazing, great one. So thank you, Andrea, for sharing it.
Connie, this sounds like it would be right up your street with your true crime fascination.
Yeah, kinda.
I do love true crime, so I'm going to be really good at it one day and I'll get away with everything.
I don't know if that's good news. I'm a bit
I
worried.
think it's good news. It's good news.
Yeah, because she's on our side. This is what you want.
I
Exactly.
see. All right, good, good. Yeah, I'll try to make sure not to make an enemy out of you, Connie.
I'm harmless right now.
Sweet. All right. Does anyone have a question or something you'd like to share?
So one other thing I'll share, I'll try to make a better job at posting updates on the French Fluency Accelerator group. But tomorrow, I think tomorrow, I'm going to say tomorrow because that'll make me do it. I'm going to apply for my pass sanitaire because who knows if we're going to actually go, but we're supposed to go in November to Nice. Who knows if that'll work out. But in the meantime, I need to start applying for my pass sanitaire. So I'll let you know if in fact we end up getting a pass sanitaire with American vaccinations and how much red tape we have to go through to get it.
Yeah, that's honestly a good question. I have no idea how that works. And it probably changes every week. So yeah. Yeah,
I looked up at least the current way to do it, and it seems like it's going to be a nightmare and it's going to take lots of time, but we'll try it.
I mean, I'm surprised that it wasn't actually even shut down because there was a lot of discussion about it, but apparently they haven't forced it. So yeah.
Cool.
It's probably,
I would be interested to see how you get on because of the same thing. I'd like to go back to Europe next year. So, and France is on my list of places I want to hit. So I would really be interested to see how it works out because I know the CDC just ticked France up a notch in our places you should avoid going to.
Yeah, it seems to have a number of a lot of cases right now. So,
yeah.
But between now and next year, everything can change. So yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we're supposed to go in November, the first week of November to Nice, and then we're supposed to go next April on a Viking River cruise on the Rhone. So I'm hoping all this will be a lot smoother, at least by April. But November is really not very far away. So I'll tell you how it works out.
Yeah, keep us posted. Like you can post in the French Accelerator in the Facebook group when you have a question. I have for you. Actually, I was wondering when I was reading through everything that happened in the accelerator. At the beginning, we used to have daily prompts, and there was a prompt for every day of the week, like Monday through Sunday. And at some point, I created a second set of prompts, and then I kind of gave up because they became repetitive. Would you like to have them back? And if so, how would you like to see them be? Because now that I have Linda working with me, it might be easier to create more variety with them. So if it's helpful,
I would like them back. I liked them until, like you said, until it got repetitive, but I liked them because it did force me to kind of go into that group and see and write something myself and then see what other people wrote. And so it was just a little like reading and writing practice as well. So, plus I think it gives us a little connection with one another when we write and share things on a post, like we can all see what each other
like if they are actually being used, then they are pretty good. The reason why I just let them fiddle away is because they were not really being used. I suspect that the first 1 or 2 people who saw it were like, oh, I'll deal with it later. And then the Facebook algorithm was like, oh, no one cares, and didn't show it to the other people. I'm just really have beef with Facebook at this point. Like, I think every person who has an online business is annoyed at Facebook for some reason, or at everything that has an algorithm. To be honest, like there's a new like controversy with Instagram share function, whatever. I'm not sure what has happened, but yeah, it's like they are trying to make our life harder. I would love to find a different platform where we can have more, less distraction and more community. But so far, I've been investigating a couple of things, but it's just, I don't know, nothing is really like widely adopted. And I know that Ivo told me that Discord would be possibly an option, so I need to investigate that, but I'm not sure how easy it is to move everybody over to Discord. So
I have Discord and it's really very user friendly.
okay.
And
So
you can, when you create your group, you can have different tabs for different items of interest or whatever. It's actually a really good platform.
okay.
I don't know video. I can't say about video. We haven't tried that, but Discord actually works really well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great input. I mean, I know that you're a gamer, so perhaps it's easier for you than for other people.
Yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only time I ever used it too, was in a group that was for the game that I was playing. Connie and I, that's how Connie and I met, y'all. We met in a game where we kill each other. So
oh, I still miss that game.
Don't you miss it? I miss it.
But yeah, Discord is it's very user friendly. It's a lot easier than Line, which is another platform, which Line sucks.
Line. Yeah, I hated Line. Line is terrible. Right.
Exactly.
There's something called Circle that seems to be created for learning communities, but no one has it, and it's I don't know. I'll check out Discord. Maybe it will solve our problem. So
okay. If you have any questions, just ask me.
Yep, will do.
I'm available.
Anything else you'd like to ask about or share about? Ask questions. You can ask questions to our scholarship students who are here. Maybe they'll want to answer. We do have 4 of them. More. 6 of them, because Ivo is here, Marion is here, Shabbat, I believe, is Mercy. That's her last name. Vijlin is here, Polo and Hafsat. So
unmute yourselves.
If they can hear you, I don't know if.
I don't know if they can hear me, but
I can actually ask them to unmute. And yeah, please say hello. And Polo, I'm not sure if you can hear us. Polo, if you're not asleep, say something. Because it's what, over midnight for you now.
Hello everyone, my name is Paolo. I'm from the Philippines, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I won't be here without you. And thank you, Angel. It's 1 a.m. Oh, it's 2:29 a.m. here.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
In the morning. Yes, it is. But I'm okay. I'm a night person, so it's pretty normal. But it is 2:29 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should let you go to sleep.
Enchanté, is that right? Enchanté.
Yeah, enchanté, absolutely.
Enchanté.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have already signed up for the member zone, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so you can get started with the first 3 workshops, not just Polo, but everyone who's just joining right now. You can get started with the first 3 workshops, and on Sunday at 5 p.m. my time, so 2 hours earlier than we did today. We'll meet back on Zoom. It will be another link. I'll give you the general link, like this link I created for just this meeting, but there's another link that we use to meet most of the time. And that will be that link that we will use. It will be sent to you per email, don't worry.
Okay.
And then we can speak specifically about how we get going, but you'll have to watch the first 3 workshops anyway. So if you have some time this week, just start with that. And
I will.
If you have questions, just write them down and bring them to me on Sunday.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. And same thing for our students.
Yeah.
Merci à toi. All right. Okay.
Let me just say that, yes, I am from Oklahoma, but I am currently living in Paris. So if anybody comes to Paris, please say hello. We can get together for coffee or un verre de vin. And
Oh, I hate you a little. Oh,
Exactly.
I might actually, I've been thinking of going to France for a while, but I haven't really done it because of all the pandemic stuff, but I haven't been in France in a long time. And
Yeah.
it would be helpful even for me to just keep in touch with my own culture.
Yeah.
Because I live in Vienna, Austria. I don't know if I said that, in case some of you are not aware of that. But yeah, I've been thinking of going to Paris and also perhaps to other places of France.
This fall is a little different for a variety of reasons, but we would definitely be there for the from January to June at least. So
right. What part of Paris?
If anybody is able
in?
to travel, the 19e, côté de le Parc de la Villette.
Oh, très bien, très joli coin. Yeah, nice place. Sweet. Thank you for the invitation. I'll make sure to remember it when I go there.
Yes, please do. And my husband is an excellent cook, so there's that.
Oh, good to know. So is that a dinner invitation too?
Yes, dinner invitation.
Sweet,
well.
Amazing. I'll make sure to contact you.
Yes, please do. All of you, please do.
Thank you.
Cool.
Anyone else want to invite us to come to dinner to their place?
Yeah, everybody come here. Right, don't come here now though, because it's the surface of the sun right now in Virginia, but come here whenever you like, and it would be cool. We could have like a whole big accelerator.
That would be fun, actually.
Yeah.
Accelerator party in Virginia.
What city in Virginia?
I'm in Gloucester, so it's a small village on the coast. But I'm about in, like, to give you a perspective, I'm like an hour southeast of Richmond.
Okay. We have relatives in Roanoke.
Oh, so that's the other side of the state. I'm over on the coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's invited to Michigan.
Sweet. I'll remember that too. Yeah. We have Kristen from Michigan in the French Accelerator.
Oh, that's right. Cool. She's from Michigan. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's from Michigan.
Yeah. Cool.
The greatest state.
You'll have to like justify this because I'm not sure that everybody will agree. So why is it the greatest state? I've never been there. I can't speak.
No, we don't have hurricanes. We don't really have tornadoes. We don't have earthquakes. We don't really have a lot of bugs. It's the perfect state.
Sweet. I was talking to Carla just before she had the session with me, and she's in New Jersey, and we were literally listing in French all of the animals that could kill her chicken. Bears, raccoons. Let's see if I can remember it. Les putois. What was that? I forgot what it is in English. What's putois in English? Skunks.
Yeah.
Some flying stuff like owls. Another one that she had, which killed the chicken last week. That was the whole starting point. Another flying thing. Un faucon. What's a falcon in English?
Falcons or hawks. We have a lot of hawks here.
Yeah. Foxes. Yeah. And her own dogs, who sometimes had access to chicken as well.
As you can see behind me, I live in the enchanted forest.
And herself. So yeah. Enchanted forest. That would be nice. One thing that I would love to do, which I haven't mentioned in the vision, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, is having retreats in France. And I mean, it would be amazing. I look forward to creating that. Of course, it's a bit on pause as long as there's a pandemic raging outside, because if people can't even get into, like, it's something you need to plan at least 6 months in advance. And right now there's no 6 months in advance planning. It's just not gonna happen. So yeah, well, we're gonna have to wait. I hope to grow a bit, like the fame of the accelerator and generally of my work. So we have more people potentially interested in that, because of course it's something that you will have to have enough people to make it worthwhile. Otherwise it's going to be extremely expensive if it's just 2 people, because we need to organize the whole, weekly stay or something, but yeah. Okay, so there's a thing going on in the chat. Steve is saying he grew up in SW, Michigan. I don't know what SW stands for. Oh, Southwest Michigan. And Connie's saying Southeast Michigan. Right, I get it. You can also just unmute yourself and speak, Steve, or everybody.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island, New York, but I moved to Virginia in November. So it's been something of an adjustment, as you can all
And you
imagine.
love it.
I do. See, I love it.
Almost believable. Almost.
Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know.
All right. Well, I mean, if you don't have any other things that you'd like to discuss, we can also all sign off. Let Polo and I don't think anyone else is in the depth of the night. Just some people are a bit later, but let those who are late go to sleep. And I will finish this. It's being recorded, so I'll just throw it on YouTube for the people who haven't been able to watch it. And yeah, I don't know if any, oh yeah, there are a few people of you still here who are not in the French Accelerator. If you want to join us, you're very welcome to join. You have the link, so I would love to have you be a part of the program as well. And yep, any last words or last questions?
Thank you, as always.
Welcome. Thank you for being here repeatedly, almost every Sunday. It's amazing. Of course, next Sunday we will be back on YouTube at the usual time. I haven't prepared the schedule for September yet, but I know that people have asked me to speak about how to make French gender neutral. How to speak in a gender neutral fashion in French. And that's not the écriture inclusive, which I also speak about, but that does not make French gender neutral, unfortunately. So that's going to be one of them. And one person, or like a few people have said they had interest into a session about French and Spanish, like how to learn French and Spanish and how to use French to improve Spanish or vice versa. So I'll make one of those. And if you have any topic that you'd like me to speak about, please just, either scream it now or just email me or tell me in the YouTube live next time. I could make French and German. I could make French and other languages perhaps. I mean, I don't know all languages. Spanish is a language I know well because I studied it and I can speak it, although I'm not sure if my cleaner would agree with that. But every week I do have a bit of a chat in Spanish with her, so I still have some sort of Spanish skills, even though I'm not really practiced in the last year. I feel very American having a cleaner who speaks Spanish. She just happens to be from Venezuela and she only speaks Spanish and German, so I have to pick my poison every time she comes. Sometimes I pick Spanish, sometimes I pick German, depending on my mood. So yeah, last words? Nope.
No, we're
all right. Well, thank you everyone for being with me. It has been an amazing anniversary party. I couldn't be happier about how this program has, taken a life of its own. And I really look forward to having you next year. Well, I mean, basically onwards, either on YouTube Live or in the French Accelerator, or of course both, not mutually exclusive. And I'll see you next Sunday, all of you. All right. Bye. Thank you guys. Goodbye.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate your thanks and congratulations. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. I'll talk to you in a few minutes, Linda.
Okay.